I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Give up on my way home, yeah. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Give up on my way home, yeah. Give up on my way home, yeah. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Give up on my way home, yeah.
This is the move for those who.
What we do here is go back.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
I
What's up, Mecha Army? Welcome to the Child of Mecha live stream. I am your host, Tim, the one and only Child of Mecha, and tonight we're doing something a bit different. Just a bit different. Just a bit. Just a bit. So, if you don't know what this shirt is, my boy Joel, Mr. True Gunpla, he makes shirts. He makes some really good shirts. Go pick them up on holymountainprinting.com, I think is the website. So we'll talk about this and why I'm wearing it here in just a little bit, because there've been it's been a topic, over the weekend and yesterday and stuff like that Joel and George actually did a live stream on, and I just kind of want to inject my 2 cents, just a little bit, nothing like a full-on hour or anything like that, like those guys did, but just kind of, give a different perspective, shall we say? Yeah. And Freddie just likes the tip jar, so good to know. Let's see. So you can go pick this up in holymountainprinting.com, but and all of the aesthetics are very kind of that, death metal-ish, hard rock-ish kind of aesthetic, which admittedly is not kind of my aesthetic, but you gotta support your friends, right? You gotta support your friends. So that's why I'm wearing this tonight. Now, on the flip side, if you kind of tend toward the minimalist side like I do, definitely go check out childofmecha.com. Hit the store button up at the top. You'll find shirts, hats, and bags and some other cool stuff on there. Go stock up. And then also, if you are interested in any of the tools and materials that we are going to be using tonight, you can check the Amazon link just below here on YouTube and on Twitch. That side, if you're watching on Facebook, curated a ton of stuff, good stuff for you guys to, peruse. A lot of the stuff that, we use here on the stream is there. I do get a small commission based off of the things that you buy, but it goes to help out the stream, and it is very, very appreciated. I mean, the mic speaks for itself, right? So, and I think the next upgrade for all of this is going to be getting Windows 10 on this computer. It's still running Windows 7, and if you guys are in the know about Windows, Microsoft is going to cut off support for Windows 7 at the end of this calendar year. So I need to get Windows 10 on this thing very lickety-split. So I think that's going to be the next big kind of upgrade for this, which will then allow me to use my Stream Deck that I bought without knowing that you needed Windows 10. So that's fun, right? So, anywho, go check out the Amazon link there. Buy what you can, what you want. And as always, if you need kits or paints or other stuff, decals. Oh, I didn't turn that light on. Hang tight. I knew I forgot something. Right? Where's the switch? There she is. Just so you... There you go. So you guys don't forget. But hey, if you want to get the Mecha Decal 001, the first sheet in our line of Mecha Decals, definitely hit up my boys right down here. USA Gundam Store. Adam and those fine folks down there will definitely hook you up. $8.99 for that sheet. Good stuff. So, go pick them up. All that stuff. All the stuffs. Okay, so real quick, 3 topics to talk about, and then we're going to get to building, yeah? First and foremost is the Armored Komodo stuff. We showed Armored Komodo chroma flares and then the rust weathering pigment. We showed that on the last stream and how cool and awesome those look. Was talking to the Armored Komodo guys yesterday about applications, best practices, things of that nature, and got really in depth and a lot of good details on how to best apply these things to plastic. And there's a ton of knowledge from those guys, and I just absolutely appreciate every little tidbit of advice that they gave me. But their best practices involve some products that I don't use and don't have, namely Vallejo metal varnish. They've had evidently very, very big success applying the chroma flares over top of that, especially the Yugen, kind of that holographic pearlescent style pigment. So went to my local hobby shop today. They didn't have it in stock, naturally, but thankfully it's on the next order that they get. So hopefully sometime next week I should have some sort of results in terms of testing these things. Yeah. So until that comes in, these things are kind of temporarily on hold for right now. So stay tuned for the Arcom stuff. But again, you can still get them. Well, I don't know. They might have sold out already. I know USA Gundam Store was very close to selling out. I know the Gundam Project shop, I think, sold out. I think. I know they were moving like crazy from both of those retail establishments. And I know the Arcom boys are just like blown away by the reaction to their products. So pretty cool stuff. So that's kind of the Armor Komodo stuff. Let's see. Ooh, Arvora, Andrew too. He's got an update from William at Precision Design Company. He can't read the smallest text on the Bandai decals. He's making a copy for me. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, the super tiny text on the Bandai decals are utter crap. So what are you gonna do? They're illegible. So yeah, it is what it is. Al Cruz is over there on YouTube. He says, "What's up, Tim? Checking in. What's up, Al? Thank you for watching, buddy." Space Rat. Is Space Rat's birthday today? I see happy birthday, Space Rat. Kinda happy birthday, Space Rat, if that's the case. Yeah. Cool. So, guys, development in GBWC in the US. Not having to do with my injury or anything like that. Nothing like that. If you guys have missed it, Anime Expo was one of the 2 locations that they were going to be doing kind of the popular vote thing. Not anymore. Yeah, not anymore. They've kind of walked that back, and it's essentially at this point the same setup, the same entry system as last year. Now, please bear in mind this, that you need to pre-register and essentially save yourself a spot in the cases. Just like last year, but I think they're going to be enforcing it probably a lot more stricter this year. So please keep that in mind. If you don't pre-reg, you're taking your fate in your own hand at that point. So definitely pre-register online prior to going to Anime Expo. Now, I gotta admit, that's a good thing. That is a good thing. So in a rare case scenario, good job, Bluefin. And I'm being totally serious. Good job. That's a good thing. You get points for that from me. Yeah, that is a good thing. So we'll see what else happens, right? So that's a positive step in the right direction. I think so. I think so. As brutal as I've been, on Bluefin about this whole thing, this is a step in the right direction. Yeah. I commend them on this. I give them points back. Bluefin, you have earned points back. Congratulations. So, so that's a really good thing. That's a really good thing, especially for people that go to Anime Expo. I know there are a lot of people that were worried. What do we do? What do we do? Well, you pre-reg, you show up, and you compete. So, but Bluefin, I'm not gonna let you off the hook just yet. You still got a long way to go, earning our trust back. But this is definitely a step in the right direction. A positive step in the right direction. So I hope they keep it up. I really, really do. Because like I said, as brutal as I have been, it's for a good reason. Because I want to see a good, fair competition that, supports the people, that supports the community, and that builds camaraderie amongst builders. I don't think that's too much to ask. So, yeah. So, Bluefin, keep it up. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. Keep it up. Good job so far, but keep it up. All right? You got a ways to go. You got a ways to go. So, step in the right direction now. All right. This next topic kind of came out of left field for me at least, because I know that let's see, Ernesto Ernefern, Gunpla 305 did a live stream over the weekend about it, and then George, Mr. Old School Gunpla, he's in the chat. What's up, George? He did a live stream. He dedicated part of his live stream last night, church, to this particular topic. And then right after that, Joel jumped on kind of impromptu and basically did a whole live stream on Instagram about this as well. And I think, from what I understand, and I don't know this for a fact, but from what I've heard, this all kind of stems from some of the conversations that we had on Gunpla Talk this past weekend about Patreon, right? I think everybody's familiar with Patreon, right? For those of you that are not familiar with Patreon, it is a website where a creator will, basically start an account, and then based on how they have their particular Patreon set up in one of two ways, whether it is a reoccurring monthly donation, or a kind of a pay-as-you-go, pay per piece of content style of setup. It can be put out there in many different ways, right? So I thought the conversations over this were really, really I think some good conversations, some good thoughts and stuff like that too. But like I said, from what I understand, this stems from our talk with Fox, the model making guru, over the weekend, about monetizing and Patreon and stuff like that. And I don't know if it was directly from that or if it was from something else, but it started a conversation, at least on Instagram, about it. So I thought it was a pretty interesting topic, and kind of just wanted to spout poetic, just a few minutes, nothing crazy. So if you watched George's and after that Joel's live stream, I was on both, and I was interacting and chatting and everything. We were having good times. The way that I see Patreon, and I think probably the most user-friendly way to use Patreon, is more kind of like a tip jar, as a thank you for services rendered, quote unquote, right? So, say for instance, Zaku release. You all know my boy Zach, right? He puts out videos like a video a day, sometimes two, depending on his schedule and what he's got going on. So he puts out a ton of content, right? So the way that I kind of see Patreon is that, hey, Zach, thank you so much for doing this. You know what? Here's a donation or something like that. Here's a something in recognition for your wonderful effort and content. So that, for me, is probably the best user experience, and probably the best case scenario in terms of using Patreon as a tool, as a monetization tool, right? Now, please keep in mind, the best practice someone could have when they're promoting their Patreon is to make sure that people know, hey, no pressure. There's no pressure. This is a zero pressure situation, right? And you don't want to just kind of keep just every 5 minutes. You don't want to do that. That's stupid, right? You know, hit it at the top, hit it at the end of your video, something like that. Maybe I've even seen some guys hit the Patreon thing as in terms of a kind of an extended, you know, maybe 30-second type of thing in the middle of videos, right? There's a really great woodworker artist that I follow, Chris Salome, on YouTube, and I think his particular delivery of Patreon promotion is probably damn near perfect, because what he does, and if you guys don't follow him, if you're not into woodworking, I totally get it, but if you are, it's so worth a follow. He hits it kind of an extended promotion in the middle of his videos, but you still see him working. He's just kind of talking and he's just spouting, you know, off about it. And then, you know, he does the, you know, hey, here are my patrons at the end, you know, giving them on-screen credit, right? So I think that's really a good delivery system. Some people will do it at the beginning, some people will do it at the end. Not a big deal, but just don't hammer it into people's heads. That's a bad practice. Now, what system works best? You know, and I've given that kind of a lot of thought, because you're locked into one or the other. And there's only two systems in terms of Patreon. And the cool thing about Patreon is that you can cancel anytime. There's no, like, you're locked in for 5 months or whatever, right? So, you know, you could sign up, donate a one-time, you know, deal, and cut and run after that, right? Or if you wanted to stick around and support, hey, that's cool too, right? So all of the both systems have their pros and cons. So let's break that down for just a second for those of you that, you know, are not familiar with it, right? So like I said, there's a monthly reoccurring, you know, donation. And usually those, from what I've witnessed and what I've, you know, observed from people that do have Patreon pages and accounts, is that those tend to be on, you know, start out on the smaller side of the scale, you know, $1, $2 a month, right? But then as the tiers go up, you know, you get some cool perks and stuff like that, right? Now, I'm of the opinion that those perks should not inhibit the flow of that information or that content. So going back to Zach as an example, and Zach, if you're watching this, sorry, buddy, I don't mean to blow you up your shit here, but, you know, just as kind of a case study, if you will, I guess, right? You know, he could give out, you know, special things, right? Like, and, you know, my boy Justinius Builds, he kind of does this. He has a Patreon, and he'll put out the videos that he releases on normally, like 2 or 3 days early on Patreon, right? So that the patrons can see it 2 or 3 days earlier. It doesn't inhibit the flow of content. It just delays it 2 or 3 days. Not a big deal, right? At least in my opinion. Yeah. So that information is still flowing, right? But that's a cool perk for those people, because they feel that you know, they kind of get an exclusive type of relationship, right? You know, some people do like group hangouts and stuff like that every month. You know, some people will give merchandise discounts and stuff like that, and I think all of those are really, really cool. Some people will, you know, certain tiers of patrons will get entered into like a giveaway every month, which I think is really a cool idea as well, because, you know, for that level, hey, I might have a chance to win something else. Fuck yeah, dude. You know? And if you happen to be the only one at that level, then boom, I mean, you win by default, right? So I think all of those are best practices. I think all of those are really good kind of tier rewards and stuff like that. And then some people just get really like into it, deep into the woods, like you know, sending out, you know, t-shirts or something like that every month. And while I think that's a good reward, that creator, if that creator gets enough people signed up for that tier, that will get very tedious very quickly, especially if they hold down a full-time job outside of the Patreon thing. So, in my personal opinion, the more relationship-based, virtual style of tier rewards that come with that are probably going to be a better user experience and a better creator experience in the long run. So keep that in mind when you go to support somebody on Patreon, because, you know, somebody might think the world of themselves and oh yeah, I'll send out these t-shirts, blah blah blah, it'll be great, right? And then you get 100 people at that level and you're gonna be like, oh shit, I gotta send out 100 t-shirts, right? Like, that gets old real quick. So just, you know, keep those things in mind. Now, the flip side of that, the other system that Patreon has set up is the pay per content, or donation per content, right? A lot of people, like a lot of musicians, will kind of use this particular form of the setup, and you know, they'll put out like music videos and stuff like that. There's one very successful musician that I saw on there. Not obviously not successful in the mainstream, but successful on Patreon, obviously. You know, the dude does covers, he's talented, but he's not, I wouldn't necessarily, hey, you know, you're going to be an amazing star. And not to knock his talent, because I can't sing for shit, right? But what he does is that he does the pay per content, and the creator can designate what is the content that is payable, you know, towards. So I think that's a good setup for certain scenarios and for certain content creators, right? But for the most part, I think the recurring monthly donation probably going to be the best catch-all, right? But then there's a whole nother topic about Patreon in terms of guarded content, paywall content. You know, I'm kind of 50-50 on it, to be quite honest with you, because, like, if you look at artists, like real artists, like, you know, digital painters and things like that, vector artists, logo creators, guys like that, and I follow a ton of these guys, concept artists, and, you know, etc. They will, a lot of them will paywall their, you know, their tutorials and stuff like that. And, you know, there's a growing market for those types of things. You know, virtual learning, whether we like it or not, is the wave of the future, right? That's what it's going to be. You look at, you know, online universities like Udemy, and you know, some of the other, you know, bigger ones. But I'm a member of Udemy, and I've ordered a bunch of classes from there to learn different topics and stuff for my, for my day job. Very valuable stuff. Very valuable stuff. And for the prices, some of these courses, you can really make a lot of, get a heavy ROI, or return on your investment. So the one that I signed up for, and I haven't looked at it yet, I'll be honest with you, is mobile application production, right? Because it's something that we definitely want to get into in my day job, and for the company that I work for, but nobody in the company knows how to do it. So whose shoulders does it land on? Mine, right? So I got the course. It was $9.99. This is like a college level course. Like I think it was something stupid like 70, 80 hours of content, and then you get then the course creators can addendum more pieces of content onto that, because your license never expires once you purchase that, right? You can go back and take that again if you need a refresher or something like that. So long story short, if I guess if someone is willing to pay for it, someone will be willing to monetize it. Yeah. I can't necessarily hate the person that does paywall or stuff, because you have to think about, if they are paywalling it, they must be doing it for a reason. And if they continue to do it, then they must be successful at it. And that means there's definitely a market for that content. So it goes back to that old adage, don't hate the player, hate the game, right? So I personally would never do kind of a paywall thing. In terms of, knowledge and tutorials and stuff like that. That's just not my style, right? I can't knock the guys that do. I just can't. So that's kind of my 2 cents. Yeah. Hopefully I didn't bore the shit out of you guys, right? Hisaki Handren. I know Handren was talking. He was on both last night too, and he says for a hobby that literally all the info and tutorial on it are already available free online, then pay to see more is nonsense. I agree with that theory. But let me kind of do a counterpoint just real quick to that. Now, the one thing that I know, especially in today's, standards in society, people want instant gratification, right? So if what it comes down to, I think, for some people, is that would they rather spend hours and hours and hours searching out and researching those answers, or would they rather pay a fee and use the convenience of, an online university or Patreon or what have you, to ingest that content very easily, right? So it does come down to a convenience factor, I think. But Handren, I absolutely agree with your theory. I absolutely do. But again, people want convenience, right? So again, there's pros and cons to all of this, you guys. Pros and cons to all of this. But I do think that if you make it a best user experience for not only your users, but also for yourself if you're a creator, sky's the limit, right? Because you do build a community, right? Those people, think enough of you to hand over their hard-earned money, which is a massive, massive compliment, I think. So it needs to be convenient in both directions, I think, for the long-term success, right? So I think that is kind of the best thing for everyone to keep in mind, whether you're a creator or whether you're a patron, right? Half-Sight, he's over there on YouTube. He says, I will never pay a 20-year-old to play video games or some schmuck to video his vacation. But someone teaching you something you want to learn, I fully support tipping as a thank you. Exactly. Exactly. And I totally agree with that, actually, because I'm not going to sit here and pay fucking Ninja to play, you know, Fortnite or whatever the fuck game he's playing, right? I've never watched that dude at all, but, you know, I can't knock him at the same time because dude's making a boatload of cash off these kids, right? And who knows, maybe that's generational, maybe that's demographic. I don't know. I don't know. But there's a market for it. So I can't knock the market, you know, if they're willing to hand over their cash. Brandon5269, he says, I'm with you, Tim. It should not hinder their current workflow and info they put out as long as it's a balance. I'm all for people doing Patreon and similar. Yeah, there you go. George says, good thing about Instagram is you don't have to search too much, just ask the community. This is true. This is true. As long as you're tapped in. But if you're a beginner and you don't know where to look, it can be a little daunting, and I think you could very easily veer off into the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Yeah, and see, and Bailey says, yeah, if you're plugged in, yes. Okay, cool. See, me and Bailey, we're like, Bailey, are we twins? Like, I know there's the obvious no, but mentally, maybe? I think. Anyway, hey, check out Bailey and Brandon and Tino or Tito? Is he Jackson 5? I don't know. And Joel on the chopping mat. The chopping mat, you guys. The chopping mat. The cutting mat. The cutting mat. I fucked that up the other night, so it's just funny. So Brandon, he says, I get you can ask the community, but when you get 20 responses of different ways to do something, or you could pay $1 or $2, get a person showing you exactly their way and step by step. Again, yeah, pros and cons, right? Pros and cons. There's definitely a convenience factor, right? There's a convenience factor that people will pay for. I myself will absolutely pay for convenience. When I travel for work, I could go and rent a car from Alamo or Budget and save money, or I could pay a little bit more, go to National, hit the Emerald Isle, get in the car and just drive off. I'm going to pay that little bit more for National to get in that car and be out. Because time, as they say, is money, right? But also there's the convenience factor, and that's important to a lot of people nowadays. Very important to a lot of people. So you can't discount that, that convenience, I think. I think that's a big thing. I think it's a big thing. But Brandon, I think, is right, too, because I see, especially on Facebook, Instagram is not that bad because it is a tighter-knit community. But say, you get on Facebook, say, like, one of these big groups, like Gundam Network, for instance. Somebody will ask a very, very simple question, and they will get 20 or 30 different responses simply because there's 30, 40,000 people in that group injecting their own unique expertise into the conversation, right? Now, I've looked at many threads on, especially that group. I build, what is it? I build Gundam something else, whatever, on the other big group on there. It's a Gundam, all those big groups on Facebook. And I will tell you what, I have cringed looking at some of the answers given to these people, right? And I will try my best to interject, real information. But like I said, man, it gets lost in the sauce for a lot of things. So Convenience again. Convenience again. One of those things, right? One of those things. George says, true, Bailey, but someone new to the hobby may not be starting with paywall on Patreon either. No, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. But, you know, I guess it does kind of fall back onto what people's expectations are and what people are willing to do to find the information that they're looking for. Yeah? So... But, Dwayne just says you both are close enough to be twins. Nice. Tino. Okay, Big V Roman. I can never remember Tino's handle and stuff, so thank you, B. Appreciate that. Yeah, and you know what? And Handren is over on Facebook, and he makes a good point. He said, but there is no one set law to follow to do in this hobby. Each has their own way. 100%. Each one of us have taken a different path to where we are right now, right? And all of the paths are very, very different. But I think it's the collective experience and the collective knowledge that will definitely help people out, especially new people, right? It goes back to the old adage, it takes a village to raise a child. Think about a new person in the hobby. Oh, look, a little baby modeler, right? Come with us. We'll show you the way, right? You know, this particular topic is a very, very, very multi-layered and complex kind of topic of discussion, right? And for simplicity's sake and for speed, I know because we're getting at the almost halfway point here. For simplicity's sake, if you're thinking about signing up for Patreon or yeah, I guess creating a Patreon, do it as a tip jar, right? Especially if you're not 100% sure, just do it as a tip jar, right? Make it convenient for people. Don't start out crazy, you know, $1, $2 tier, $5 tier, you know. Start out simple. Start out low. Let the community build, right? What else? Don't push it down people's throats. Be cool with it, right? Probably one of the best deliveries is if someone to come on a video and say, "Hey guys, just started a Patreon, so you know if you're interested in helping out, here it is. But you know what? No pressure." And just leave it at that. That's it. That's as simple as it could be. Mention and move on. If people are interested in it, they'll go sign up, right? They'll go sign up. So, think about that, guys. Think about that, right? And I know there's going to be a ton more discussion on it, and that's I think that's healthy, and I think that's good, yeah? But don't, as I say, don't get lost in the sauce, right? Keep in mind that this is not a black and white type of issue. This is not a right or wrong type of thing. This is a very multi-layered, more complex type of topic, you know? You know, and some people are just not into it. That's cool. No pressure, right? No pressure. That's the thing to keep in mind. No pressure. All right. I'm done with that shit. Let's get on it, right? George says, too right, Tim. Nuanced topic. It really is. Really, really is, right? It really is. Superset, he's over there on Twitch. He says, hello, everyone. What did I miss? I see Tim has a new shirt. No, actually, it's our boy, True Gunpla. Yeah. Oh, and you know what? I didn't even mention why I'm wearing this. Son of a bitch. So last night on Joel's stream after George's, you know, Joel was just like, man, you know, support your friends, right? And damn it, if peer pressure's not a bitch. So there you go. go check out Joel's shirts. All of them are really, really nice. He's got a ton of stickers, and I got them plastered all up on the thing over here. I'm going to have to do like a full like panorama of the stickers right now because it's starting to fill up on this thing too, right? It's starting to fill up big time. So lots of stickers. Yeah. Love me some stickers. So, but yeah, Joel and Holy Mountain Printing, man, they make some cool stuff. Especially if you're into the, you know, the kind of the that aesthetic, that death metal, just rock and roll stuff, right? It's not my deal, but I appreciate it, and I appreciate the artistry that goes into it, and the hard work and everything that goes into it too, right? So, that's it. Oh, and yeah, and support the hoes, pro ho. Mind you, very much. Not in a chauvinistic way. This is a callback from Joel's stream last night. It's a joke. For those of you who missed it, I think it might still be up. Maybe go watch it. That's all I gotta say. Anyway, yeah. See, Tex will vouch. Thank you. All right, let's go to camera. Let's get into the. Let's get into building, y'all. Really? Come on now. Okay, so it's been a pretty productive Wednesday. Yeah, pretty productive all in all. So here's the chest. Now, are we zoomed in? Yeah. Okay, so here's the chest, and I think this was all scribed and the little Gary. Thank you for the sub, brother. He says, noise. Gary's that dude, man. Go follow Gary, Yrag Gumplo. He wears the Deadpool mask and he rocks the Child of Mecha hat. I can't be mad at that. Man. So, if I remember correctly, we had these plastic little bits here and the scribe lines and everything like that popped in. Yeah, I think. Anyway, did a bit of work on the guts of this thing, right? It doesn't look any different pretty much on the outside, but ooh, look there. What's this yellow stuff right here? That ain't yellow snow either. That's that good stuff. Oh. So let's take a look at the guts of this thing, right? So we had to do a little bit of work on this guy. So if you guys remember, there were these kind of big cavity voids right there, just simply because we transplanted the Goof Custom chest armors over to the Zaku 2. So there's obviously a design and a size difference, right? Chris R, gotta go, Tim. Work early in morning. I'll catch the stream tomorrow. Chris, have a good night, buddy. A text says, but I'm not the best moral compass. R4 introduce it. Who needs moral compasses? Yeah, I guess so. Bend the fucking knee, Julio. Clipping nubs. Donnie Baxter's over there. What's up, Donnie? Man, Donnie's Nemo is looking good, y'all. Seriously, go check out Donnie's Nemo. I personally am in love with it just because of the color scheme, because it's navy blue and gray and white. Like, I'm partial, right? And now, mind you, he's not doing that for me. He just did it, and I love it. But it's not for me. It's not for me. But I love the color scheme and all the work that he fucking went into putting into it and the scribing and everything. He did a top-notch job. So big shout out to Donnie. Art Inc. by DB on Instagram. Go follow his stories and stuff like that too, because that's where where real content is for Donnie. But anyway, I digress. So what we did here, and this looks a mess on the inside, but you're never gonna see it, right? So we popped in the Tamiya QuickType epoxy putty, right? Now, some of you may be thinking, how did you get that kind of perfectly matched to the shape of the existing armor? Because that's perfect, right? It wasn't that easy. I'm going to tell you that right now. But This is the one thing, this is the secret in forming armor pieces. Boom. Yes, you guys. Petroleum jelly. Now, y'all may laugh. Y'all may make dirty jokes. But don't get it twisted. This stuff right here, you brush it onto these armor parts. You smash in your epoxy putty into here. You pop the two together. You let that putty cure for 8-9 hours. This thing pops off like it's nothing, right? Because what's going to happen is that petroleum jelly will inhibit the adhesion of the epoxy putty to the other side of the plastic. Now, it's good and solid on the goof parts, yeah, good and solid, but it didn't stick obviously to the Zaku armor. So trade secret, right? Now, obviously, it needed a little bit more fine-tuning, especially around the edges and around the bevels and stuff like that. That's where, you're kind of, your fine-tune filing and sanding and all that comes into play. Sure. Now, also, too, this was an unexpected thing that I had to do, but I had to reinforce these custom pegs in here. So we got 4 pegs, 2 on both sides, and these are, ones that we put in, ourselves, right? Now, I originally just had these in here with our good old friend Plastic Magic. We just kind of bonded those and melted that plastic together, right? Now, as you've seen over the last several streams, we've been taking this armor on and off, on and off, on and off. And that's just part of customization, you guys. You're going to put this thing together and take it apart countless numbers of times. So as I've done that, these pegs and that bond has worn down and become stressed, and I think 3 of the 4 pegs popped out on me yesterday. So that kind of sucked, right? That kind of sucked. But what we did, and this is obviously an old school trick. We took some good old fashioned baby powder, yeah. Johnson's here in the States. That's the good stuff. And our new favorite friend. Let's get the Bob Smith Industries, this stuff right here, yeah. I laid down a layer of the baby powder, popped some super glue over top of that, and Bailey, you're going to be proud of me, buddy. I've officially come over to the dark side. Yes, I bought Accelerator. Damn it. And I have to admit, it works. It works. Bailey was right. Bailey was right. I was wrong. Bailey was right. Cha-ching for Bailey. So, B, definitely a good suggestion. I picked it up kind of on a whim. Because I was looking at these things and I knew that the pegs were becoming loose. So yeah. But so what I did was pop the super glue on there, mixed it with the baby powder, mixed that up real nice, spread it out to where I wanted it, hit it with one shot of that accelerator, let it sit for about 10 seconds, rock solid. Rock solid. So, the one thing, and I don't know if they're all like this, but the one thing that I found is this stuff right here, and I didn't know this until I used it a couple times. I just did a test. I put like a bead of super glue on like just a scrap piece of styrene, and I sprayed it with this, and then I touched it, and this stuff is greasy. it's like weirdly greasy, right? But it evaporates and dries quickly, and it doesn't leave any residue after the fact. So that's a positive, right? So these pegs are just tremendously reinforced now. I don't think we'll need to worry about the strength of these pegs coming, popping out or anything like that. I'm very confident now with the bond of these things. So there is the chest looking pretty right. Yeah, looking pretty right. I still got some scribing to do, kind of down here, and obviously, you know, along the side chests and everything like that. But excuse me, I think it's coming along rather well. Yeah. Handren's over there on Facebook. He says, Tim, I think the plastic magic has something to do with it as well. Seems to me its adhesive is not as strong as Mr. Cement or Tamiya. Really? I don't know. I think the opposite. Because I know if you guys remember the time I had getting the picket fences off of this thing, that was a mess. Although now that you mention it, now that I think about it, it could be a matter of surface area, right? And hear me out, because the pegs have very low surface area in terms of the bond, but the picket fences had a ton of surface area, right? So I think that might be something there. I think it might be something there. But anyway, so there you go. Let's see. Al Cruz over there on YouTube, he says, what does the baby powder do? It acts as kind of a reinforcing agent. If you guys follow the Scale Model Workshop, Mr. Paul Budzik, an absolute wonderful inspiration for modeling knowledge, and I've picked up a ton of information just from watching his videos. He uses acrylic powder, dental acrylic powder, but that's rather challenging to find. So the next best thing is kind of a baby powder, and it uses it. It basically, you mix it with the super glue and it reinforces it, and it makes the ending material much stronger than the two materials individually, obviously, right? This stuff now kind of mounded up around the pegs. I think it's going to be legit. I think it's going to be very, very solid and pretty much good to go. So there we go. Yeah. And I think overall, I think that's a hot shit look right there. Yeah. Yeah. Fiery is over there on YouTube. He says, I heard Accelerator makes CA glue more brittle. Is that right? You know, I thought the same thing. I will be honest with you. I thought the exact same thing. But, just in using it on this, I don't notice a density difference, and I don't notice any brittleness or anything like that. Mind you, it's one application, but I haven't noticed anything. So, there you go. Yeah. But I really dig the look of this. The parts that I really like on this, let me just kind of show off here just real quick for you guys, because I'm very proud of these particular little bits right here. That little detail right there, right? And the reason why I'm so proud of it is that this is a 1mm by 0.5 mm strip, beveled on one side, and then look at that. That's just a little 0.3mm scribed notch in there. And I just think that looks, once we get, and it's obviously, it's outline scribed as well. And once we get the Tamiya panel lining fluid on there, and it catches in that little notch, oh, it's going to look so good. So, I don't know, I like that. Obviously, there's a ton of dust still in those panel lines, so don't get it twisted. But, yeah, I just like the look of those. So there you go. I don't show off often, but when I do, it is what it is. Brandon 5269 says, literally any fine powder will work. Like I said, I used powder coffee creamer and super glue to fix a crack in a printer at work. Interesting. Powdered coffee creamer. Now that I think about it, you guys have seen that stupid video where the guy fixes, like, his bathroom sink with ramen noodles and super glue, right? Maybe it's obvious. Well, I shouldn't say maybe. It is the same kind of process, right? Shit, maybe ramen noodles are cheaper than baby powder. Shit, you can get ramen noodles for like 49 cents a piece. Ground that sumbitch up. There you go. Just a thought. Just spitballing, I guess, right? But anyway, so that's where we are with the chest. Now, before the stream and last night and earlier today, I was working on these binders here, yeah? This one is still a work in progress. This one is in a completed state. Let's get the accoutrements in here so you guys can kind of get the fuller effect of what we're dealing with here. And we'll show the finished one more than the other one. Yeah. So, this is the binder that the... let's see, that the tanks, these tanks go on like that, and then, this gets popped onto this piece, which gets popped onto the backpack. So you guys know the deal. Anyway, there's a vent that slots into the back end here, right? So let's get super zoom so you guys can see this in a little bit better detail, because just from the look of it, it doesn't look like the detail's coming through as much as I would have liked on the wide shot. So, Bro Builder, Brian, he says, what's up? Does anybody really say that anymore? I don't know. Anyway, so on up and down the length of the back here, right? We've got a nice edge scribe here, and then every centimeter I've got kind of these nice wide 0.5 millimeter notches that obviously you can see kind of go all the way through, right? So that this basically becomes almost like fins, right? So I really like that look, and I did it on both sides. All the way up and down the length of it, right? And then just kind of did a simple, perimeter scribe all the way around. Just like that. There's the bottom. And then we spin that back around on here. We got a nice, just a long kind of flare-ish floating notch there. We've got a little bitty notch there. And another one right there, 0.3 millimeter. And then just a nice kind of 3-line rule panel line right across the middle there to break up the monotony. So let's switch this thing, turn this thing over. Now we got a little bit of a different set of circumstances for this particular side because you've got this here. So outline scribe all the way around that, couple notches here and here, but then have this line going all the way around the front side, little notch there, mirroring the other side, that nice big floating notch there, and then you've kind of got this nice little simple detail right here that I added, and the bottom is all this here is pretty much the same mirror of the other side. So yeah, lots of work on this one, lots of work. So I think it came out really quite nice. Yeah. Brandon asks a very, very good question. He says, what is the 3-line rule? Well, I'm glad that you asked. Let me get out of Super Zoom and I will commence to tell you about the 3-line rule. So, excuse me. The 3-line rule was developed by the author of Scratch Build Revolution, and I can't remember the gentleman's name off the top of my head, but he came up with kind of the 3-line rule, or at least kind of fleshed out the 3-line rule. So basically what the 3-line rule is that, you know, any panel line essentially is made up of 3 segments, right? Like on this side, you've got one segment here, one segment there, one segment there. For a kind of a successful, you know, aesthetically pleasing panel line, right? Now, the thing to keep in mind is that all of the angles within that segment, that 3-line segment, are not acute or not less than a 90-degree angle. They are obtuse and greater than a 90-degree angle, and that has been Cusianto. Damn, I can't pronounce that. But thank you, Bailey. Appreciate that. I couldn't remember off the top of my head. But basically, the angles are obtuse. They are greater than 90 degrees. You know, these are guidelines. These are not rules. Keep in mind, these are just guidelines to a more aesthetically pleasing panel line design, right? Now, for me, for this particular line, this diagonal, I just kind of followed this line here based off of the hard point, right? So that's the only reason why I kind of made that diagonal. I wanted something to break the monotony here, but yeah. So that's kind of the 3-line rule in a very, very, very quick format. But Scratch Build Revolution, Iffin's book, available in a lot of places, USA Gundam Store being one of them. You can pick that up, and he's got like a full section explaining the 3-line rule and going into the philosophies and stuff like that too. Definitely a good pickup. The name is a bit of a misnomer. It should be Detail Revolution because there's not a lot of actual scratch building in it, but still a great book. Probably one of the best books for kind of that style of detailing. So, and the only one that I know of that really gets into the 3-line rule kind of in detail. So, definitely a good pickup, I think. Handren asks, are you going to leave that circle detail there? This one over here, right there, I actually am. Yeah. I think what I might do is maybe pop in a what you call it, little photo etch round in there, just to kind of set that off, because I do like the placement of that, believe it or not, but it definitely needs something more, right? So yeah, I'm actually gonna leave that there. I kind of dig that. So mind you, it's probably never gonna be seen, but I will know that it's there, and that's the important thing, right? That's the important thing. Let's see. Juan, Mr. Crovero, he's over there on Facebook. What's up, dude? He says, gonna hang here until my wife gets off work. Nice. Nice. Well, thanks for stopping by, brother. Appreciate that. And if you don't follow Crovero, Crovero on Instagram, shame on you, because you definitely should. Definitely. So, Hannon says, or MSG detail like a little booster from MSG. Yeah, you know, we could probably get away with that, but you know, maybe like one of these little guys right here, right? Maybe something like that. And it's just like a 2mm diameter little thing there, right? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it really depends on kind of how I feel about things. My Taobao order got shipped today. Yeah. Happy about that. So I have a ton of photo etch coming in that order. So I will have lots of options to choose from, thankfully. Excited. Got some decals coming. And what else? I got a couple tools coming. I got a nice metal circle template, metric size too, which is makes it very convenient, especially when scribing lines or trying to scribe curves and stuff like that. That should be very useful. And then I got one of the guides that you mount your chisel in, and then you can resharpen the edge. So I've got some old busted chisels, like my very first set, that I want to try to kind of revive and bring back to life. I'm going to try it. I'm going to get a diamond plate, to try and sharpen those, and we'll see. We'll see. So, there you go. Oh, I completely forgot, you guys. I know on Monday I said we got the green light for other colors for the Mecha Decal sheet 001. I actually submitted those today to Cartograph. So, red and gray. Those will be the two new colors very, very soon. So probably within the next month, maybe. Those should be available. But yeah, red and gray, really good stuff. Brandon 5269, is chat froze? No, obviously not, since I just read that. So yeah, so there you go. Hasaki Hendren says Haikyuu decals. No, actually, because I'm all stocked up on Haikyuu. Regardless of the fact that I've made my own, I still love Haikyuu decals. The aesthetic is great. I'm never, ever going to copy their designs, but I will stay within that kind of same aesthetic, but they will all be original designs. So with that being said, if I want some of the designs off of those sheets, obviously I have to, purchase those sheets, which I don't have a problem with because I love Haikyuu decals, even though that they're not as clear as the Mecha decals or as good quality. But they're still really good. Don't get me wrong, you guys. I'm playing. No, actually, what I've got coming, I've got sheets from Evolution Studios, and then I've got sheets from Steel Soul, the guys that make the photo etch parts. These guys, so they actually make a few decal sheets, very limited right now, but I ordered some of those sheets just to take a look at those and see what the quality's like and everything like that. So yeah. R for Andrew 2 says, can't wait to see what you get in from Taobao and your recommendations on them, Tim. I mean, most of the stuff I've already gotten before, to be honest with you. The bulk of the order is photo etch parts. The bulk of the order is photo etch parts. I did pick up a brand new box of Tamiya QuickType. The 100-gram box too, not the little shitty 25-gram box. No sir. We got the big boy. So that's coming. And I mean, it's a modest order. It's nothing crazy. I didn't go overboard. It's a modest order, right? So good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see. Ocean Spirit, very good quality decals. Ocean Spirit. It's Steel. No, it's Steel Soul. These guys. The AW. Soul Steel. Oh, Ocean. It is Ocean Spirit. Son of a bitch. That's the email address. Now, why is it Steel Soul on all of the Taobao sites? Steel Spirit? Whatever. All I know is I'm getting them decals and I'm getting them photo etch parts. Don't care. Names be damned at this point, right? I don't know. Billy says LOL something. That's great. R4 says interested in the tools. Yeah. I'm kind of cool. I really want to see what this the chisel mount is like. So basically it's like it's just this little hunk of metal with a roller on the bottom, and you insert your chisel, your BMC or whatever in there, and then there's a a screw that you kind of tighten down on it so it doesn't, go crazy and it doesn't wobble or anything. You get like a diamond plate, like a grinding, kind of a diamond plate, and then you just kind of go back and forth, just kind of sharpening that, that top edge of your chisel. Right. I don't know if it can be used for MadWorks though. That's the only thing, you guys. So might be one of the advantages of BMCs. I don't know. Right? I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, excuse me. Halfsight is over there on YouTube. He says, "Yeah, I'm gonna look into the Origin Zaku soon, but closing on my new house in 2 days, so spending is limited, much like Netflix. I'm getting the fuck out of Georgia." Dude, well, congratulations on the house, man. That's big, dude. That's a big moment. So good stuff, dude. Congrats on that. But yeah, I feel you. I feel you. So good shit, man. Let's see. Superset, on my Perfect Gray Mark II, I'm thinking on a G3 color scheme. You think that's a good choice? Dude, I think the G3 color scheme on anything is a good choice. I mean, grayscale on grayscale color scheme on any mech is a sexy look, I think. So I don't think you can go wrong. So there you go. Hendren says, "Tim, speaking of epoxy, the Wave epoxy putty, been hearing great stuff about it. I didn't know Wave had an epoxy putty. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to try it and see. I honestly didn't know that they they came out with their own. Interesting." Bailey says, "Very, very high quality decals. The Ocean Spirit or whatever. Yeah, they look good from the pictures, right? But obviously, we've talked about this on the stream before, especially with Chinese decals, where you get up real close to it and it says, 'This is a warning sign.' I'm like, motherfucker, I know that." So, yeah, we'll have to review those. So, but Dwidget just says translation error, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it could be. It could be Google. Who knows? I'm just going with what I know. Wish USA Gundam Store had all the BMC in stock. Dude, the thing about that is Adam orders a ton of them at a time, and they sell out like that. No lie. Just as a quick insight on USA Gundam Store, just kind of as a sidebar, guys. When we were down there visiting a few weeks ago, Adam has order notifications set up on his phone, so his phone will ding every time an order is submitted to their system. I swear to God, that thing went off at least 20 or 30 times a minute. Like every few seconds. Ding, 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 ding. I'm like, dude, that's fucking annoying. He's just like, oh, you get used to it. But that kind of gives you a bit of insight. They sell out. They order a ton, but they sell out very quickly because there's a huge demand for it. So, pros and cons, man. Pros and cons. Man, if you guys could only see behind the scenes, down there, it's such a cool setup, man. Such a cool setup. Anyway, but yeah, so there you go. Bailey says Tamino thought grayscale was perfect for Gundam. There we go. I don't agree with Tamino a whole lot, but hey, we can be boys over that. Yeah. Jeremy Christopher Russell, he's over there on Facebook. He says, "You buy Gundams, especially when you buy a house. Great housewarming gift." There you go. That's a good thought, right? Bailey says, "But Clover didn't, and they had the moolah, so..." Nice. Let's see. Kenneth Sim, will Tim consider getting the table work holder for clamping small parts? I mean, probably not. I've never really needed that kind of... what is it? Like, it's called third arm or something like that. I've never really needed those things, so probably not. I don't know. I say that now, and I'll probably end up with it in a few weeks, but fuck me, right? Julius says, do you use anything smaller than a 0.15, like a 0.075? I have used a 0.1. I probably wouldn't go down that far, especially for master grades. I would just be worried about the strength of the blade because, man, you're getting super thin at that point. I'm worried using the 0.1, but you knock off another little bit off of the width there, and it's crazy. Manny's over there, Mech Dio. That sounds that sound of money, SpongeBob, right? Terry T. I had a boo-boo ordering from USA Gundam Store this past order. It was frustrating experience, but they helped fix it. Yeah, and you know what? You contact them, they'll do you right. They will definitely fix it. I know sometimes the emails get lost. It happens. But you message Adam or something like that, they'll fix you right up. Adam will jump through hoops for people. Dwidget says, speaking of, if y'all want to place pre-orders for them BMC, let me know on the Facebook page. Speaking of which, Thurno Hobbies and Games over there on Facebook. Go check out Thurno, a.k.a. the Dwidget, over on the YouTube chat. He is the hobby bounty hunter. He will find whatever you're looking for, and he will not stop. He will not rest until he has found it. I lie. He might actually rest. I don't know. But cheers to Thurno. All right, so Hendren says the G3 was original color scheme from Tamino. Bandai didn't agree. Well, Tex says I love just seeing a kit primed. Oomph. It's a good look. I'm not gonna lie, it's a good look. Terry T. I spoke on the phone with them, and it sounded like they're getting more BMC in 2 weeks or so. Yeah, it's not surprising. Jeremy Christopher Russell, keeping it real, chopsticks and alligator clips. Yeah, that works. And if it works, it works, right? Dwayne just says, Tim, I take cat naps. Nice, I like it. I hope my hobby search order comes in with my BMC chisels and handle and high Q antenna parts. Yeah, the high Q antenna parts are money. I like those. I like them a lot. All right, let's get to work because it's already 11:30, you guys. I don't know. Will we go long? I don't know. Maybe. If you guys are down for it, we might just do that. I don't know. So, symmetry, very important. That's pretty damn close to symmetrical. Over here, it gets a little hinky. You can kind of see the wibbly wobbly. Especially when you get these two up here. But I'm not going to sweat it. All right, so a few things that I still have to do with this guy right here. I need to put in the overarching line right here, which will be here, and then the underarching line right here. And then we got to do the floating notches, and then we got to do the other notches, and then we got to do the simple detail piece. Done and done. All right, so let's get the over and under arch completed first, because that's kind of low-hanging fruit, yeah? So we're gonna pop a couple pieces of little Dymo tape here, and let's see. Let's get the back peeled off of this bad boy. That off there, throw the backing in the trash, and now we gotta be kind of careful because what we're gonna do is we're gonna line this up with the corner of our design, and hopefully this will just wrap over nicely and meet up with that other corner, which it doesn't. Go figure. Son of a bitch. We're going to have to finesse this guy a little bit here. We're going to have to finesse this. And we're just going to have to make it work. All right? Like James Gunn, man. Make it work. Make it work. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm comfortable with my manhood. Shut up. Alright. Let's get this scribed in here. Now, going over a curved arch like this, curved piece, not exactly what I would call easy. But as long as your Dymo tape is adhered pretty well, it's not exactly difficult either. Yeah. Not terrible, not great. Placement's a little off, but once this thing is painted and all, I don't think anybody's going to notice it, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, you know what? That looks like shit. I'm not going to stand for that. Attention to detail, people. Attention to detail, right? I'm not going to do that. So we're going to fill that in. We're going to fill those in with super glue, and we're going to redo those because I am not happy with that. Not happy one bit. But before we move on, let's try and get this bottom piece done here, shall we? So again, we're going to try and hopefully connect the corner pieces here. It would be good if I was on camera. So, right about there. Try to. This is the bad part about this particular side. There's not a lot of surface area for this Dymo to hold. So you kind of got to hold it down and manipulate the tape around this curve, yeah? Now, hopefully that matches up a little bit better. Not terribly great, but hopefully not as bad as the other one. Okay. Get this scribed in here. All right. Now, what I might do is come up with a creative solution for a particularly troublesome problem. So, what we're running into is the corners of the opposite sides are not matching up. This particular piece is rather difficult to get a good handle on, especially for these perimeter scribes. Mainly because of this curved, edge and everything. Normally, what I would do is throw a scribing guide on here, and it would be good to go. Everything would be square and fair and all that, right? But since this is curved, this can easily wobble like this, and since we're trying to ride real close to the edge, you get even more wibbly wobbly, yeah. So at that point, really your only recourse is to is to eyeball it. So even with a longer edge here, being this close, man, it just almost impossible. So not very easy to scribe. Now, sometimes you have to come up with creative solutions. Yeah? Sometimes you have to come up with creative solutions. Dwidget says, Tim, can't you use half of a tube to use as a scribe guide? That's an interesting suggestion, Thurno. I didn't think of that. I think that would probably work very well. Yeah, I think that would actually probably work really well. Let's experiment, shall we? Let's see. What's the diameter here? Let's see. That's actually a really good idea. I didn't think about that. So 6 millimeters is the inside diameter, yeah? Inside diameter. So we need something bigger than 6 millimeter here. So let's check the tube catalog here. No, 9.5. No, I don't think that's going to work. Oh, screw it. Let's just pull them all out. Ooh, here we go. 7.9. I think that would probably work well, yeah? So let's experiment, shall we? Because we might have something here. Thurno might have a really, really good suggestion on this. So we're gonna get a. This is just a. What is this? Just a hobby miter box, yeah. And we're going to grab a good old hobby saw. I hardly ever use this thing, to be honest with you. I just don't ever have the need. So let's see. Let's get right about there, yeah. And we're just going to get this thing trimmed off to where we need it, but I don't want to deform the shape at all, right? So we're gonna put the tube over there. We're gonna flip this thing over, and excuse me. We're going to deburr the inside here real quick. Good there. All right, so now what we can do, and this is a good tactic that I like to use. Let's zoom out so I can show you what I'm doing here, right? So what I do, this has a lip right here, and it usually goes on the edge of your table or whatever, and it gives you a nice secure place to do your sawing and everything. But what I do is I flip this sucker upside down, put your tube right up against that, hold that nice and tight, and then your pencil or whatever can ride right along that edge and give you a nice straight line to saw into and all that good stuff, right? So let's explore. Let's explore this, yeah, because this might be a very interesting suggestion here that Thurno had, and I'm glad he made it, because we might have something here, you guys. Because I'm always looking for new ways to do scribing jigs and stuff like that. Y'all know me. So let's get the 0.2 millimeter, because that's the workhorse chisel. All right, so I've got my scribing guide just locked right in, just holding that super tight. And we're going to get this line scribed in first. Let me get it lined up here, and then I'll hold it nice and tight. And we'll just ride the chisel right along there. And basically we're starting the line that we will then saw into with our hobby saw, right? Okay, that's good enough right there. So hopefully that's straight. Looks straight enough. Okay, so chisel discipline, always very important. Let's see. Cool. I'm excited about this one. This one could be interesting right here. Now, big thing is let's make sure we've got good diameter. Yeah, I think we're good there. I think we're good there. Now. Ah, you son of a bitch. Alright. I'm not gonna dick around with that. I'm just gonna go straight for the hobby saw here. Alright. So we're gonna use little tri-tool kind of teardrop deal, right? So that's actually working really quite well right there. There we go. Just needed to get that line started, get a groove in there so we can get the hobby saw going, right? Okay, that is going pretty good. I do like these little saws. These are nice. Come on now. Okay. Coming along pretty good. We just got to get this thing bisected here, right? That's the toughest part with little plastic tubes like this. Keeping the line straight. Getting them perfectly halved. Okay. So now we're going to switch to the big boy here. That going. Come on now. There we go. Now we're cooking. Now we're all the way through. Cool. Oh boy. All right. Wow, you guys are still here. I've gone super quiet because I'm like excited about this particular process here that Thurno suggested. So now we kind of eyeball this real nice, and we just use the line, the cut that we've already made as our guide to cut through the other side, yeah? Now, this will either be super successful or it'll fail miserably. I don't know which. I have no idea. We'll see, right? That's part of experimenting with this type of thing. Right, guys? And there we go. We're through. All right, cool. So now, knock the dust off of it. And let's pull out our good old sanding or file plate here. Let's get this half real nice and dead ass flat. That should be good. Let's do the same thing on this one. Good there. Let's get that out of the way. Now, the big thing is to make sure that we deburr the edges, because that is going to be rather important, because we don't want any stray bits of plastic getting in the way and ruining a potentially straight panel line, right? Okay, so now, moment of truth, you guys. Here we go. Let's see what. Oh man. Ooh, that. Okay, so what I'm noticing is the diameter on this particular tube is just, the inside diameter is just a little shy of 6mm. Just a little shy of 6mm. But, man, that actually, I think, would work if we really pressed this thing down. Now, the one problem that I could foresee on this particular method is getting it lined up this way, because obviously, you know, same thing goes for this. You have that play there, right? You've got that twisting kind of potential slop, right? So, but if you eyeball it just right, this could be a pretty damn fine scribing guide here, yeah? Now, another thing that you can do, and I'm just kind of spitballing here, is to, so say you want to really get this thing secured, what you could do is glue a strip onto one side, and then you have that added support on this side, and then you can just kind of flip this around to the other side, and then that will definitely be perfectly symmetrical on both sides. Guys, I think we have a new process here, thanks to our boy Therno, the Dwidget on YouTube, and I think I might have to explore this just a little bit more. Yeah. Half-Sight says you could you add a flat lip to the bottom so it can't rock? Yeah, that's kind of what the thought process was just a few seconds ago with this strip here. Obviously, it would be a much a longer strip to match the length of this thing, right? But yeah, you glue that into place right here, and then once you pop this on here, that would settle in on this side and use this flat surface here as kind of your brace, right? To brace this thing into place. And then all you got to do, obviously this would be one piece. All you got to do then is just flip this thing over, do the same thing on the other side. That flat piece would brace itself against this surface, and then you would have a perfectly symmetrical scribe line on that side. Shit! Why didn't I think of that? But that really is a great idea, Therno. That is really a good idea. I think we might have to explore that a little bit, that process a little bit more. I might have to play with this. Damn fine idea, dude. Damn fine idea. Holy shit. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Hendon says, great idea. Yeah, no, it really is. It really is, right? So, good stuff there, man. Good stuff. Let's see. Cool. Just going back in the chat, see if we missed anything important. But yeah, so what I think I might have to do tomorrow or over the weekend, I might have to play with this idea a little bit and fine-tune it and maybe come up with some differing solutions on how to kind of perfect this particular style of scribing jig. Oh, there goes the camera. Auto zoom, guys. Auto zoom. Let's get that camera, or get that tape locked in. So yeah. Brandon5269 says, the only other problem I can see is how far onto the part you can scribe. The tube will only give you a certain depth onto your surface. Actually, I have a solution to that as well. Yeah. So you glue on this side as your brace. Who's to say you can't glue on another strip on this side to get you a little bit more of a deeper scribe in there along that perimeter? Yeah. Just saying. Just saying. So there you go. Yeah. Manny says, Mech Diary says, the more you know. And knowing's half the battle. Yo, Joe. The Dwidget auto zoom for dramatic effect. Yeah, right. Man, oh man. Yeah, great, man. Great idea, dude. Dwidget, man. Great idea. Great fucking idea. I am like psyched about that right now. I'm like, the gears are turning in my head, and I wanna explore this more. But I wanna be able to fine tune this a little bit. So, you know, obviously doing it on stream is not going to be the most conducive way to really kind of dig in and think about it. But I think we got something here. I think Dwidget has definitely got something here. Yeah. Good shit, man. Good shit. Love it. See, and that's the thing, guys. Creative solutions for weird conundrums like this, right? Yeah. Dwidget says, well, you could, but that would be another 4 hours. Yeah, no doubt, right? No doubt. Hendren says, or slide it down more to the edge. You want more depth to it than glue the strip on the other side. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All possible scenarios. All possible scenarios. But for right now, what I was thinking about before is another kind of creative solution, and that's to hide the crimes with a notch, right? Now hold up, that's there? Okay, so that's not too bad. That's not bad. That's not terrible. The top part is terrible. That's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna leave that. I'm not gonna leave that there. That's definitely getting filled in with super glue, and I'll do that a little bit later. But this top scribe is utter garbage. But this bottom one, actually, now that I look at it and kind of really study it a little bit, it's not really all that bad. But what I was going to say is what we could do is to hide the corner, and let's get you guys zoomed in so you can kind of see what I mean, right? And actually, we're going to get super zoomed in so you guys can see the thought process behind this, right? So there we go. Okay, so this underarching line right here, what I ideally wanted is to have it meet up with that corner. Obviously it didn't, right? So that's our crime, essentially, right? So what I'm thinking is use, you know, like a 0.50 or something like that, and hide it with a notch. Now, mind you, that might need a little something beefier than 0.5 millimeter. So we're gonna pull out the big old mama 1 millimeter. Yep. And this should definitely help us hide the crime here, yeah? So what we can do is just come in right beside that panel line. Right. And we just get a little notch going in here. Okay. Just a little something, something. Okay. not even on camera here at this point. Let's get the hell out of super zoom. You guys got the meaning and everything, so we'll get out. We'll get into just normal zoom, and let's see. Let's get to doing this here. Am I on camera? Yeah, but focus is not great. All right, there we go. All right, so. Actually, let's see about this one here. Okay. This, I think, will work pretty nicely for hiding our little mistake here, because it's just a little bitty edge notch. Just kind of like that. Just kind of like that. Nothing crazy. Yeah, nothing crazy. But what it does, and I think I need to fine-tune that just a little bit more. It's a little messy right now. But you guys kind of get the idea of what we're kind of going for at this point. Okay. So, right about there. And here we go. Super zoom. Bada boom. Now again, like I said, all this needs to be fine-tuned, cleaned up. It's a mess right now, but that does successfully hide our crime, so to speak, right? All we'd have to do is mirror the other side with that same notch, and we should pretty much be good to go in terms of hiding our little mistake there. Happy with it? Not bad, yeah? Not bad. So, just another creative solution. Mind you. Yeah, hey, there's Viper. He says a mess, but will be crisp and beautiful. Oh yeah, once we get done, yeah, it'll be perfectly fine. Absolutely. But yeah, creative methodology. It's not a mistake if you correct it. Yeah. Or hide it, right? So there you go. Different stuff, different methodologies. Yeah, different methodologies. So good stuff. Okay, so carrying on. Let's next tackle. Let's see. What else do we need to do? We need to get these 0.3 millimeter notches in here. So we're going to, number one, get the right piece. Number two, let's get the dust cleaned out. Just like that. Good. And chisel discipline. You guys know the deal. Let's get out of super zoom. Okay. And let's see. All right, now 0.3, 0.3, 0.3. Here we go. 0.3. All right, so now what I do, what I did on this one is I just used a little 2mm plastic strip, and I came down from the that corner here, and that's kind of where I made my notch. Same thing on this one. 2mm in, easy peasy. So we are going to do the same thing on this piece. Hold up, don't fall in there. That would be bad. Okay. So basically what we do is we just line this up with the piece itself, and I'm just using this to get started, right? I'm not using this as an actual guide. Just to get started. Just to locate our line, right? Now, for this, what I'll use is a much bigger, much more stable scribing jig here. So now, this sits flat against this. This has a nice wide stabilizing side right here, so it braces on the flat. And all I've got to do is locate that initial mark that I just made, and then we go to town, and this will be nice and perpendicular to our edge scribe. Get all that gunk out of there. And oh shit, I know it's real hard to see, but you guys kind of get the point, yeah? You guys kind of get the point. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip this around. We're going to put our little 2mm guide here, and we're going to lock that in right there. And we're going to flip this around ever so carefully. We're going to do that same notch. Just like that. Get it started. Get that guide off of there. So that's getting in the damn way. Let me finish it out. Now check your lengths, because you want the notches to be equal length. So if one's longer than the other, lengthen the other one. Because it's easier to lengthen the short one than it is to shorten the longer one. There we go. All right, so do a little surface sanding to get the dust in there, up the contrast so you guys can see it on camera a little bit better. See. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. Whose birthday is it? Oh, Manny, 39. He's a youngster. Happy birthday, dude. Mecha Army. Happy birthday. Nice. Thank you. I love feeling old. Man, nah, dude, you're shit. 39. So, we got a notch here. We got a notch there. Looking good. Flip this puppy around. Did we do the same thing to the other side? We did do the same thing to the other side. So we're going to do the same thing to this other side. But since this protrusion, this mounting point is here, that makes it hard to use this guy, right? This side. So we can just flip this around, and it comes in right underneath of that. That protrusion mounting point. So good stuff. get our jig located right there, and let's get to scribing. Okay, good there. Sure you get all that debris out of there, because that will cause you to ramp your scribe like there's no tomorrow. Good. That's excellent. And I still can't use that side on this side, but get this bad boy located here, just like that. Perfect. Am I even on camera? Yeah, I am. Wow. Cool. Nice. Al Cruz. All right, everyone. Got a Ford 6.0 to tear down tomorrow. Catch you guys next time. Dude, thank you for watching, brother. Appreciate you stopping by. Have a good night. Let's see. Yeah. McDowell, man, he says the 30s fly by. Dude, they do, man. They so do. 20s, and your 20s feel nice and long, but man, your 30s fly by. Okay. Cool. We got that settled there on that side. Looking good. Nice and symmetrical. Notches are, whoops, perfectly lined up there, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to go back and fill that overarching deal later, and I'm going to add that little notch to the underside as well, just to hide it. So, the only other two things that we need right now are our floating notch on either end and this simple detail right here on that. So, let's get that taken care of. Yeah. Let's see. Now, what scribing jig did I use for this one? That I can't remember. Not that one. Was it this one? Aha, this is the one. Cool. All right. So, now we have to locate this thing. And again, 2 millimeters from the top. And that's a solid centimeter in distance. So, make it kind of easy on yourself, you know? Okay, so there's that. And actually, let's plot this out. That'll make it a lot easier. Top edge. Bottom edge. Because this T-square is 1 centimeter in diameter. Or in width, I should say. Diameter's for circles, width is for everything else. So, now we've got our starting point and ending point. Now we can just pop our scribing jig on here. And we can scribe in our floating 0.5 millimeter notch. Pretty simple. Okay. So, now the thing is with floating notches like this, you need to start at both ends and meet in the middle. Okay, just like that. And we flip this bad boy around and get started from the other side here. Now, once you've got your two edges established, your two ends, and once you've got those met in the middle, then you can kind of go back and fine-tune the rest of the line, because it's not going to be the same depth if you do it that way, right? It's going to be shallow at the ends, but deeper in the middle where the two sides meet up in the middle. So you basically have to compensate and just help it along and flatten it out a little bit more. Okay. Make sure the ends are nice and clean, because that's going to be your make or break points for these floating notches. You want your ends to be super, super crisp. So just go back, fine tune those if need be, and you should be good to go. Let's see. Let's get some plastic dust in this thing. Let's see kind of how we did, yeah? Not too bad. Not too bad. Yeah. Not too bad. So anyway, let's see. Brandon 5269 says, I think I know, but what is your preferred method for seam removal, Tim? Plastic Magic to glue the parts, then CA will then backfill with CA glue. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah, the seam will be filled with Plastic Magic. That's what I used on this part, and that's what I used on the tanks. And make sure you kind of got a nice squeeze out of glue. Nothing crazy, just a little bit, just enough to make sure that that you've got proper adhesion along the entire length of the seam, because that's important, right? After that, let it cure, sand that down real nice and neat, and then if you have any surface imperfections, any gaps in the seam, yeah, go back, hit it with a little drop of super glue, good to go. Easy, really easy. All right, so let's see. Let's do the other one here. And then we're going to work on that simple detail real quick before we go, because it is very, very simple. Okay. We got our two ends marked. Now we get our scribing jig locked on here, and let's get our ends started here. Okay. Flip this bad boy around. Let's get the other end started. All right, so we've got we've got our initial trough started here. Now we just have to go back and fine tune this bad boy. Make sure you flip this thing around. Keep it nice and even on both sides. And that should just about do it there. Yeah. All right, cool. Now that side has that floating notch, so we're done with the 0.5 millimeter. Put the 1 millimeter over there too. So now what we need to do is duplicate this simple detail here. And this is going to be very, very simple. So we've got a little strip of 1 millimeter half round. And then, what did I use? 3.2 on this? No, that was 2 millimeter, I think. Yep, 2 millimeter by 1 millimeter, so good thing I already have this here. And we're cutting this down to about 3.2, which I already have locked in here on the chopper. Make sure you watch the Chopping Mat podcast. Very entertaining. We'll get 2 little blocks of 2 by 3.2 here. Whoa. Don't drop that. All right. Now we've got our 2 little blocks there. Now we've got to shape these things, right? Excuse me. Henry says the Mr. Cement SP Black makes it easier to see where to sand once you glue the 2 parts. Yeah. Very true. Very true. Anyway. So, what we have going on here is we have a steep bevel on one side and a slight bevel on the other. Now, if you're really glutton for punishment, you could take a file to this or a sanding block or something like that. I am not that glutton for punishment, even though when I mask, to paint, it seems like it would be. But I'm just gonna cut off the edge here with a hobby knife, and then just kind of scrape it until it looks even. And that looks really good. Now I'm going to flip the other side around, and now this is a deeper bevel cut here. So you gotta have to be a little bit more careful and a little bit more patient with this, because this one could get away from you, and it usually does. This is the one that needs a little bit more fine tuning. So now we're going to overcut just a little bit on the back end. So we're going to come back in here and just do a little trimming on the front edge. And now that looks like a good shape. Now we just have to smooth it out, which we'll just go perpendicular to the piece. And that will give us a nice flat-edged bevel. Boom. And there's that piece. So now let's check to see if it matches well. Oh yeah. That's pretty damn close to perfect right there. I like it. All right. So now we got to make another one real quick, and then we'll glue these things down, and that's going to be it. Again, just scrape the bevel with your hobby knife just to get it nice and even. Probably the easiest way to do that. And then for the deeper cut, like I said, man, just take your time. Be patient. Ooh. That's actually not bad. I think we might have gotten that on the first shot. And let's just even it out with some scraping. One side was just a little higher than the other. But let's take a look. I know you guys probably won't be able to see this on screen, but... Ooh, they match. They match real nice. They match real nice. Cool. All right. So good stuff there. So now, what we got to do is to properly align this thing. Now, the way that I applied this particular detail here was I lined it up with the notches here, the inside of this notch and the inside of that notch. So pretty easy alignment. So what we do... Make our marks there and there so we know which edges that we want to go and apply that to. And now this is applied to that same line. So we're using the same scribing jig as the floating notches here, but watch what we're going to do. We're just going to use our pencil as a guide. That right there will be our demarcation for our this middle half round, this pipe or whatever it is. Now, where did that half round get to? Shoot. I lost it. Damn it. It's around here somewhere. I know it is. It's gotta be. You just don't lose a plastic strip like that, right? I might have. Shit. Never good. Never good. I'll find it in like 20 minutes. Oh, there it is. Alright, so now that we've got this first detail all cut and everything like that, we can just use that as basically our cutting guide, right? So just use the inside edge of that block just to score the half round there. Not to cut it, just to score it. And then it'll just easily break. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that these are properly aligned before we apply them. Get our good old plastic magic out here. Get one of these guys. These end blocks. A little bit of glue. Yeah, looks pretty good. I like it. All right, now we'll do get the hose in here at half round. We're just gonna stab that with our hobby knife and just kind of hold it just like that. We'll get some glue applied to it. You don't need a ton right now because I'll show you why here in just a few minutes. Now, that hose, that 1 millimeter half round is pushed back from that guideline just a bit, just a little bit. Nothing crazy. Just to kind of give it some visual flair. Yeah. And then we add our other stop block here on the other side. little bit more glue on there, just to make sure it sticks into place. Down it goes. Right up to that line. Nice. Symmetrical. I dig it. I dig it. All right. So now what we got to do, or at least what I do, is to come back and hit the edges of this with a little bit of glue. Just kind of, just right around the edges. Just so that we'll seep underneath any edge that may not be properly adhered. Just paint that essentially right around the perimeter. You don't need a ton. Just like that. Just like that. And now we have two pretty symmetrical pieces, yeah? So, not too bad. Not too bad. Not bad. Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. 2.5 hours. Ching, like that. So there you go. Hey, Mag's over there on Twitch. What's going on, dude? Aaron Itchon is over there on Facebook. He says, how do you think of designs for plot plating? That's a very good question, right? It's a very good question. We don't have a ton of time left in this particular stream, but just the quick and short of it, you know, what I try to think of is kind of a logical methodology, you know, the mechanics of things. So for this is just basically just a simple detail that we applied to give some visual interest to this particular piece, this inside piece. Now, you're probably never going to notice these once the model is together and everything, because this piece goes on... nope, I've got this backwards. This piece goes on the backpack like this, and then this will get attached here, like that. So, unless you're looking at it like dead on this way, you're probably never going to see that little detail in there anyway, right? But, on the off chance that someone is looking over the model, judging it, what have you, they may pick that up, they may see that, and they may be like, interesting. It's a good thing, right? But for the most part, you know, if you factor in like the shield, the two shields that we've got here, you know, you want to just kind of think mechanically, man. The plating is both logical and artistic, and those two have to merge, right? And it's not necessarily an easy process to think up designs and stuff like that, or how-tos and everything. You just kind of gotta get inspiration from somewhere, and there's a lot of different places out there that you can get inspiration. But you know, look at other artists, look at concept art, especially concept art. I love that stuff. You know, there are a lot of great concept artists out there that will you know, draw up like mechs and stuff like that. Those are great sources of inspiration. So yeah, it's kind of trial and error, honestly, because this was not the original design for this. If you guys remember, we had the nasty looking picket fence up here. So we ripped that off, started over again with a much better design, and yeah, I think it looks pretty good. So Freddy was wrong. Sub it up. What did Freddy do up here? Let's go back to the notification screen. What did you do? Tier 1. Thank you, Freddie. You the man, yo. Good stuff. Aaron says, makes sense. Too bad I'm late on tonight's stream. That's okay, man. That's okay. You can rewind it back. You can rewind it back, all of them back, right? That's why they're on here. That's why I save them to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, right? So everybody can come back and rewatch them. So, yeah, but good question. Fiery says, I look at Digimon for inspiration. Nice. I mean, hey, you never know where you're going to get inspiration from, quite frankly. You never know. But he says lots of them look mechanical already. I can't knock that. I cannot knock that. Because that seems logical to me. Yeah, seems logical. Brandon5269, look up mechanical tattoo artists. Lots of cool reference material. Interesting. I'll have to take that into consideration. I never thought about like mechanical tattoo artists, but that could be pretty damn interesting. Yeah. I always love artstation.com. It's like the art site where a lot of professional concept artists go to post their work. I could stay on there and just literally look at different pieces of concept art for hours on end. They got a really cool little app that you can kind of just scroll through on your phone. You can save your favorites and categorize them and everything, which is super nice. Yeah, ArtStation is the stuff. So if you're not visiting that regularly to get inspiration, you definitely should be. Let's put it that way. You definitely should be. So good stuff there. Awesome. Fiery says, I put my 3D art on ArtStation. Nice. Excellent. Edwin RSA. What's going on, Edwin? He says, need to work on my panel line design. Dude, all of us do, brother. It's the hardest part of coming up. The hardest part of custom panel lines is the design. Plain and simple. It's hands down the hardest part. Again, it's one part logic mixed with one part artistic flair, and you gotta make the two happy and mix consistently, right? So Spider2K2, James 2.0, guess I'm catching up to the end of the stream. You are, man. We're about to punch this ticket. Brandon 5269, forget the tattoo artist's name, but he does full mechanical sleeve tattoos. They're amazing. Nice. That could be interesting. I never thought about looking at tattoo artists that do kind of mechanical designs and stuff like that. Could be something there, you guys. There could be something there. Good stuff. All right, let's switch over to, whoops, what happened there? Oh, there we go. It was on my screen. One camera. All right, let's finish this out, you guys. Real quick, hey, go support Joel, True Gunpla, Holy Mountain Printing. Check those guys out for all these kind of death metal, hard rock looking inspired Gundam shirts, which are really, really cool. If you're into the more minimalistic designs, check out chowdamecha.com. We got a store up there too where you can find shirts, hats, bags, all sorts of other cool stuff. So go purchase a bunch of stuff on there. Mecha Army shirt is up there. I've got the Mecha Army hat prototype on order. It's coming soon, hopefully. Along with some other shirts that I got some prototypes for as well. Yeah. Let's see, if you are interested in any of the materials and tools that we used here tonight, little Amazon link just below. On Facebook, or no, on YouTube and Twitch. Facebook is this side, and we got a bunch of tools and materials sourced out for you already. Most of it's on Prime. We've got gear for streaming, we've got tools and stuff like that for modeling, and then we've also got some pretty cool books for inspiration. So for those of you guys that need inspiration, there's some awesome books on there. Let's see what else. I get a little commission based off of the things that you buy. but every little bit of it goes to help the stream. Case in point is this awesome mic, and like I said at the top of the show, we need to get Windows 10 on this PC ASAP before Windows 7 goes out. So that'll be fun. But that's by the end of the year, so we got a little bit of time, right? Yeah, Fiery, no chisels, sadly. Yeah, because they don't have chisels on Amazon, unfortunately. So, but if they did, trust me, I'd have a listing for them. So don't worry. But aside from that, if you need models, if you need paints, if you need accessories, my good friends right down here at USA Gundam Store, Adam and the crew will definitely hook you up. Don't forget about the Mecha Decal 001W. That is in stock now, $8.99 sheet. Extremely crisp, extremely clear, and very, very strong. Have some great reviews coming back for those, which I'm really excited about. And like I said at the top of the show, we just placed our order for the same 001 sheet, but in red and in gray. So those are coming very soon. So keep an eye out for those. Pre-orders will be forthcoming at some point. Yeah. What else? I don't think there's much else that I can think of. I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna be back here on Friday to finish out the week. Hopefully, I will have these that monstrosity of a top panel line filled and fixed. We'll see, right? But aside from that, guys, man, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. I believe they are called Model Burn. Oh, chisel set. It just looked weird. Anyway, all right, guys. Hey, thanks for watching. Go build something cool tomorrow. Stay safe out there. Man, we'll see you on Friday. All right, take care, boys. See ya.